Welcome to Wake Up with Giants TV, not radio. Have you ever wondered what Wonder Woman would do?
All the
We
time.
have.
I was just sitting here, Nick, thinking about that very question that you asked. That's amazing.
Well, I read
Read my
minds.
mind.
You know, when I got my psychology degree, that was one of the things that came from it, is the ability to read minds. So I'm good, dude. Do it.
What am I thinking?
What would Wonder Woman do?
It's magic.
Give me another one. No, I'm just kidding. I know what you're thinking. That for those that are watching, this is what you're thinking. You should subscribe. What? Smash that subscribe button. Just hit
Two
it.
for
If you're not on,
two.
if you're not on YouTube, run on over there, skippity doo dah over there, and smash that button, right? And then hit the notification bell so every time we go live, you get notified, and then you can watch all of our shows live. They're way more fun live because we get to shout out your comments in the comments as we go. So
Yeah. Like,
make sure you're doing that.
like
Like
what
this
up?
one.
What up, Gilmans?
We like to read it like, what up, Giants?
What up?
No, legitimately, that's the fun of it, is being a participant in it. So come and hang with us. We got a great show tonight. Ryan, will you introduce our guest?
I will. So this is Tana Grover. She got a real estate license right out of high school, and right off the bat, did just about everything you could do there. Every award she was on, like, I don't know, I'm making this part up, but she was on every board, everything, any award and every board, she was on it, right? And so she just was very, very, very successful in her career. Like, knocked it out of the park. And when she does something, she doesn't just do it half-ass. She goes all in.
I go
And yeah, and then she became a mom. So then she went all in being a mom. And in 2011, it's been a single mom for the past 10 years. Through the pandemic and all the craziness that brought, she somehow, I don't know, mysteriously figured out how to publish 2 books. She's got 2 books. One of them's called Believe, and the other one's called Magic. And you can find both of those on Amazon. And Tana lives happily with her daughter Bostyn, who's truly the love of her life, and her dog Kingston, who she calls her boyfriend. If you want a good laugh, be sure to check out LL Cool J's Littles fans on YouTube. It's hilarious.
That was cool. Yeah, I saw that with your daughter dancing.
Yeah,
Can
that
you
was
hear
pretty
the,
rad.
Can you hear the bass, Mom?
Yeah, we played it this week or this weekend, right?
Yeah.
That was freaking rad.
That
And
was cool.
Tana loves reading, writing, yoga, shopping, crafting, making mirrors. She's very crafty, by the way. Very crafty. Like,
Yeah,
if
you
you
did
if
a
you
phenomenal job at the event. So those bags, that was great. Thank you so much for that.
yeah,
Oh,
just putting
yes.
the VIP bags together while we were at the event and made them look good because it was up to this guy. They would have looked not like they did.
Like burlap,
Yeah, they would have
maybe.
been like burlap
Sandwich
sacks
bags. Everybody
Yeah.
gets the sandwich baggie,
with some snacks. That's what I would have done
right?
for the deal. Yeah, her favorite place is Bora Bora. She can't wait to go back. She's very passionate about being fully present in the moments, and she challenges you to simply unplug and live your life being fully present. She loves her mornings as well, which, don't worry, Tana, we'll talk about
We
your
will.
mornings and your routine. But
Oh,
right now, what we
guess
want to do. Oh, what?
guess what? We got our favorite viewer back.
Oh, Vom Red?
Vom Red.
How did you sneak back in here, you sneaky fox?
We blocked this guy like 10 times.
Yeah,
And they're back.
they're
And
back.
they're back.
They're
of course.
amazing.
I think they're
Probably-
back because we're blocking them, but
Yeah, come
they're
on
like, we'll
back.
show you, man.
Yeah. Hi, Shanalee.
Hi,
So we're gonna
Shauna Lee.
go. We're gonna go way on back in your story. We'll probably get off in some tangents and go down some rabbit holes, as Nick Smith says. And by the end of it, something magical will happen because that's what happens on our show. We create magic, and hey, that's what you're all about. That's what your book's about. That's what your show on Wake Up with Giants TV is about.
Right.
You can
Magic.
catch
I'm
that.
all about it.
Yeah, Mondays. What time is that? Noon. Or
Yep.
noon. Yeah, noon.
12 o'clock on Mondays.
12 o'clock mountain.
Magic Mondays.
Mountain.
Mountain. That's MOUN apostrophe N. For those not from
Those that
Utah,
don't know.
that's how
That's
we say
Utah
it.
speak.
Yes. Mountain.
I love it. Yeah, there's no T in there.
Well, let's go back in time a little bit. We'll go to any start point you want. Sometimes we'll go back to childhood. Sometimes we'll go back to an awakening, and you get to choose. So wherever you want to start, we'll let you just share your story. So we're going to journey backward in time a little bit. Does that work for you?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go back to my childhood. So
Okay.
my mom is the most incredible woman on the universe. Like she just is truly incredible. If you know her, you love her instantaneously because she's contagious. Her love is so genuine and so pure. And so growing up as a child, I had the best mom ever. So naturally, when I had a baby of my own, I was like, wow, I've got a lot to measure up to.
Yeah.
So, and I have always been kind of extreme when I do things. I go all in. It's either all or nothing for me.
Is that
Yeah.
is
So
like as a kid, did you do sports? Did you like what did you do growing up? Because I can imagine. I know what you're like now, so I'm just trying to picture like little Tana.
yeah,
Like,
so I
did you like
actually
making
loved
Legos like all in like mansions or
I
what
love
did you
to
do?
read. In fact, a
Oh.
funny story about me. Yeah, I read so many books. My favorite place to go ever was the library. He could drop me off at the library. I could stay there for 8 hours. I loved the library. But I actually corrected the dictionary. Like I went through and yeah, kind of a weird random story. And they
Yeah,
actually
I
sent
do
me.
that sometimes.
I know, right? Don't you do that when you're a kid? Weird. Yeah, random fun fact about me. I was a little bit of a nerd.
Did
Still
you
am.
send it in like you like got in touch with the dictionary
Yeah,
and said, "Hey, I found a typo."
yeah, I sent it in with all my corrections, and then they sent me a new dictionary. It's kind of awesome.
That's cool.
They're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, it was a one-off misprint.
Yeah.
Here's a new one."
Yeah. Not many kids do that for sure. I didn't. I was playing cars in the dirt,
Yeah,
building
I
tunnels.
danced. I
Yeah.
love to dance. So I was a dancer growing up, but did
You
a
feel
few
like that laid a
projects.
foundation for your life? I mean, sounds like life was pretty easy going. Like, were there any struggles that you faced? Any hardships?
I know some stuff about Tana, and if you're okay
Yeah.
to go into some of your struggles, are you okay to talk about like your
Yeah.
dad and some of those
Yeah,
things?
yeah.
You sure?
I'm an open book. You can dive right
Oh,
in.
Okay.
Okay.
Tell us what happened to
hear it.
you at a young age and some of the trauma and some of those things that happened in your life.
Yeah, so a lot of why I think I'm so happy naturally is because of all the trauma and death and just really hard things that I've experienced. When I was 2, my dad died. He was shot
Mm.
and killed. He actually got shot in the neck and died up at Pine View Dam. I'm sure a lot of our viewers on here. In fact, I see my sister and my
From
really
Utah.
good friend Teresa. Yeah, and so anybody here from Utah. So he got shot when I was 2. Obviously, too young to remember a lot of it, but the trauma of losing your father as a young child obviously has a huge impact on your life. So, and one thing that my mom has always instilled in all of her kids is your life is what you make it. So it's your choice. You can choose to be happy, you can choose to be sad, but it's what you make it. And it is, and that's what I've learned and what I carry with me. And so I choose to be happy. There's days when I want to cry most days, and it's painful. I've had really bad days, but I smile through it and laugh my way until I get happy again, because that's just what I've been conditioned to do. So that was my dad passed away when I was 2. When I was 3, not even a year after he had passed away, I was in California at my Aunt Stella's house, and I drowned, and I was lifeless. I was not breathing. I didn't have a heartbeat. I had lost everything. My mom had completely panicked. And so that was super traumatizing. So to have to go through that, I can't even imagine my mom's pain or fear, what she was feeling, thinking,
Holy crap.
oh
Yeah.
my gosh, my baby's going to be with their dad. I'm sure a lot was going through her head. So, but she's a rock star. That woman does it all. I think I'm busy and I think I can do it all. I keep a clean house. I'm pretty OCD about things. I keep a really clean house because if you know my mom, your house better be clean.
Yeah.
Like, if it's not clean, she's gonna come and clean it for you. So you better clean your house.
We'll see you in a little bit, Mama Belinda.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Looking at
I
my
remember.
desk, like now all of a sudden I get like anxiety. I'm like, oh, I'll put this wrapper away.
Just
I
one
just ate
wrapper though.
this.
Yep.
Straighten this book that I found hanging around.
Oh, I'm so excited to
Right.
read that book. That's a good one.
Yeah. There
We
you go,
met
Yeah.
so
Linda.
many
There's your
authors.
there's your shout out. Love you. Bet on you.
Yes. Yes, that looks like a good one. We got so many good ones this weekend. That weekend was magical.
So
But yeah, so
going
I've
back
had a
to
lot
that,
of
like, yeah. So how did that impact things? Like your dad passed away, you were 2. That's a pretty traumatic experience, and then drowning. Do you have memories of that? Do you have like physical memories of that? Like how did that show up for you?
So it's a little tricky. My family has talked about it quite a
Uh-huh.
bit. So I don't know if I really remember it because I was so young. I feel like I remember it and I've had vivid dreams of all of it. So I truly
Yeah.
feel like I do remember it. But we've all talked about it. It hasn't been, my family's an open book too. Like we just talk about
Yeah.
things. We don't hide things. We are just who we are. Like my whole family, my aunts, my cousins, my whole family. That's just,
Yeah.
we love hard. We're just honest and blunt. And so growing up, I heard that story numerous times from all my aunts, my cousins, my
Yeah.
mom. So they would keep retelling it. So whether I really remember it or if I just remember the stories, I don't.
Yeah. No, it's hard. My dad passed away when I was 2 from leukemia. And
Oh,
I was told I didn't speak till I was 4. So for 2 years, I didn't say a word, not one word.
wow.
And I remember when I did start speaking, it was when we were coming home from church and there was a guy riding a horse and I yelled out horse, and I haven't shut up since, which is a good thing, right?
Right.
But
That's awesome.
but one thing I want to dive into around this is that childhood trauma like that, even if you don't have a memory of it, a lot of it is stored in the body. Like you still have a physiological memory of that stuff. And so I wonder, as you're moving along in your journey, did you know you'd be writing books as a kid, or did it kind of evolve, and what led you down that path as you grew up? I mean, did
Yeah.
the
I
trauma
wish
contribute to that? Do you know what I mean? Like,
so the thing that led me to writing books, this is a really hard story and I'll try not to cry through it.
Hmm.
So in
Everyone grab your
2000,
tissues because I'm gonna need them because I
yeah,
will
I
cry.
probably should have grabbed some. I don't know where I have any. So
Sleeves.
I know, right? Yeah, don't mind me. I'm just gonna wipe my snot on my sleeves. It's fine. So in 2000, I lost my stepdaughter to cancer, and although it was 22 years ago, that pain or that heartache never goes away. Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
So, through the few years that I had her in my life, which was such a blessing, and I don't want to discount anything from her mom or her dad because they went through a whole different journey than I did. So, she was my stepdaughter, but I still loved her as much as I love Bostyn. So that was the hardest journey of all the journeys that I've been through. That was definitely the hardest. But through that, I kept a journal, which is something I've done my entire life since I learned to write. I've always journaled. I've probably got over 50 journals of me writing. And when she was really sick, I journaled about all the good things that happened in her life, of all the laughter, just of all the wonderful memories. And so 5 years after she passed away, I was going through my storage box of her, and I found that journal, and I read it, and I finally found some peace. And it gave me what I wrote in my first book. So my first book, Believe, it's kind of, yes, that one. Thank you. My first book, Believe. It's kind of crazy. So I learned so much through the death of a child. Yet again, I got to relive it through her journal and through the birth of my daughter in 2011. And it was a whole new journey. Like, just having a child is the greatest gift of my life. And so, yeah, I'm mom hard. I'm mom so hard. But I think when you lose a child, there's no other way. Like, I've lost friends over my parenting skills, a lot of them, because I am extreme. I dedicate my life to her.
Man, like some of these things that we go through, you know, I think if people could hear people's backstory, right, just for a minute. We had an experience with somebody. I won't name names or anything, but I had a judgment of this person, right? And we go through our lives having these judgments of people. And if we could sit with somebody and hear their story for a minute, we might let go of some of those judgments, right?
Right.
And the beauty of being able to share your story, this is what I love about our show, is that we have so many people from so many different backgrounds that have lost in all kinds of ways, from amputations to loss of children to murder to, we've had them all on our show. And to sit and be with somebody in their story, right, their journey, gives you an understanding of where people are coming from, right, when they create in every way. And so when you look at your book, it's not just a book. This is a journey that goes into this book, Believe, right, about all these experiences that you've been through, all the way back to childhood, from dad dying to drowning in a pool to losing a stepdaughter to, you know, and name it. And people watching this have probably been through their own kinds of journeys and could write books like that as well. And so, but it's the beauty of a book is that you put yourself into that. And so people might read it, pick up the book, and they'll read it and they'll be like, oh, that's a great story. But then you hear the backstory, right? And you're like, oh, this is a phenomenal story. This isn't just a great story. This is a phenomenal story, right?
Right.
What do you think when you hear that?
Yeah, I poured my heart into that. My first book, Believe, it took me 22 years to write it. Well, 20 years to write it because I released it in 2021. So it took me a long time to write it. I knew I was going to dedicate a book to her because of all the gifts and the lessons that she taught me. I felt like I needed to share that with the world because it's beautiful.
Man, I think it's so important that people know that backstory, you know, when we share our books, just because it makes them so much more deep and more meaningful. As you went through this journey of writing the book, what were some of the biggest lessons that you learned from it? If you could share some.
Just the little things. And that's what it's all about. It's the green grass or the butterflies that flies across the sky or the shapes in the clouds. Like you posted that picture and I saw a heart. You posted a picture of the clouds and I don't even know if you noticed that, but it was like a perfect heart. And so it's just those little things in life that make all the difference. And that's what she taught me. And that's something I instill into my daughter because it truly is all about the little things that make your life so big. And she asked me the other day, this is funny. She's like, Mom, are we rich? And I was like, well, not in my bank account. I'm not rich, but we're probably more rich than half the people in the world because of the love that you and I share together. You know, I'm the richest woman in the world in my mind. Mm-hmm. And I told her that, and I believe that fully. And so people ask me why I'm so happy. I might be broke as fuck. Sorry for the language, but
I think that's the actual word for it is broke as fuck. Yeah, I think that's.
I have a hat that says Zen AF. So
I'm imagining AF, right? The correction in the dictionary was actually that word.
Yeah.
I corrected that and sent it right back.
I've been there. Yeah.
Me too.
Sorry, that was just appropriate. But yeah, so I'm not.
Sometimes a well-timed F word works.
Yeah.
Ask Steve Hardison.
Yeah, I agree.
We're
But
just gonna stay on this. Sorry,
We're gonna
Tana. You
throw
can't
you
get
off
in
course. Yep.
a word in edgewise.
We like wake up on the F word.
You're good, right?
So Nick and I just. Oh, hmm,
Oh my god.
tell us more.
Right.
Sorry, now you can talk.
Right. But truly, I mean, I am not in the best financial situation of my life right now. I'm actually probably having one of the hardest times ever. But when somebody asks me if you're rich, it's all about perspective, right? Like, well, in my opinion, I'm the richest woman in the world. I don't think, because my daughter and my family and friends and the love and laughter that I have surrounding me, I believe that. And in my book, it is what you believe. So what you create is your thoughts. When you change your thoughts, you change your life. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, that's what magic is about. When you change your thoughts, you can change your life. If I thought every day I was broke as F, I didn't mean to say that. If I thought that every day, which I don't, I mean, sometimes I feel broken, but I try not to think those thoughts. I try to really, truly focus on the positive things and the goodness and the laughter and the silly things. Like I'm silly. I want to be silly. I want to dance and laugh and have fun. Life's too short. When you lose the ones you love so much, you do what you have to do to make every day matter. Like, you never know. Life is short.
Yeah.
So
I
you're
can.
like you
Yeah.
wake up in the morning like happy, 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 right? Like we've had these conversations, and I'm like,
Yeah.
hmm,
Well, I'm a
mornings
little
for me
extreme.
are like
Not so great.
marginal at best. Like I'll tolerate mornings, you know,
Right. And I
but
love them. I literally wake up laughing. So does my daughter. We wake up, even this morning, we rolled over and I was like, boss, because she's in my bed. I'm like, boss, it's time to wake up. She's like, it's not time to wake up. I don't have school today. It's Saturday. I was like, no, it's Thursday. She starts laughing. You would think that I was tickling her to death. She is just laughing. And I'm like, what? This is so weird.
it's
Like,
only
don't.
like 3 days off.
I know, it's fine. But yeah, so we wake up. I really don't need coffee. I drink coffee because I like the taste of it, but I don't need coffee. I wake up super energized and super happy. It's not for everyone, but
Hugh gets me. Yep.
mornings
Yeah. No,
mornings are my
you're
jam.
broken as fractal. Broken as.
Although I will tell you, Nick is a morning guy. Like
Oh,
his best stuff, like he gets up fairly early.
I'm
yeah.
no
I
good
have
at night. Like right at night, like this time of night, I'm out. Like I'm
me too.
shutting down. It's beer time. It's TV
Yeah,
time.
it's
It's
past
time to
my
shut off.
bedtime. It's
Yeah.
past my bedtime. I should be in bed sleeping right now.
I get up early and I get things done. But
Yep. I don't function at night. Not very
I
well.
I want to explore something that you shared. So when you're talking about the magic, so when you come out of a situation or an event, let's call it an event, okay? Your stepdaughter passes away, right? Your dad passes away. Any event, it doesn't matter. Anybody listening to this, think of an event that was serious, traumatic. You come out of that, you start creating meaning around that, what it means. And that becomes your belief system. So over time, the emotion of that and the thoughts behind that cluster together and they become a belief system. And then it affects everything that you see. So the whole world becomes that, whatever you make that mean. And then the perception that you have starts to create what you speak, what you start to act on, what you believe is true about this world and how it works and what you can create. And I post a picture today, right? So I'm driving to work and there's a cloud over Salt Lake City. And literally sitting on the buildings. The only place it's sitting is on top of the buildings, like down low enough that it's sitting on top of the buildings. Only cloud in the sky, just over Salt Lake City. So I take a picture of it, I post it online. And how often do we, as people, do that? Is we'll have a dark cloud over us, and there's blue skies everywhere, right? And above this picture that I took, there's the sun, right? The sun's bright right above it. And so there's this idea that, we might be in our own dark cloud because of what we choose to see and what we believe and what we've held on to as truth. And then we start acting on that. And then we, like, no doubt believe that it's absolutely true to the point that we'll do things that maybe we wouldn't normally do. Right.
Right.
And or in the other direction, we'll create things when we do believe, we'll create things that also we normally wouldn't do, because we believe, if you choose to wake up happy in the morning, that's as much a belief and a choice as anything else, right?
Yeah,
Some
absolutely.
people wake up and they're like, F this, right? Like I'm going back to bed. Give me another 10 minutes, right?
Yeah. My daughter would probably hate mornings if it wasn't for me. Like, it's what I created. So when I
Right.
wake her up in the mornings, I don't like blast on the light and scream, come on, wake up. You got to go to school. Like, I don't turn on the lights. I turn on the hall light. I'll go up to her softly and I'll be like, hey, boss, it's time for breakfast. Like, there's ice cream in the fridge, like it's what you say and what you do.
Oh, I want to get woke.
Ice cream for
Hey.
breakfast?
Yeah. So when you whisper,
wake me up like that.
Yeah, right.
That's how I want to be woken up.
But it's created. She loves the mornings, loves them. It's because she hasn't been forced to wake up. It's not like I'm banging pots and pans and saying, wake up, like I play happy music. For the first year when she first went to kindergarten, I was like, oh, how am I going to get her up in the mornings? So I played that happy song, the Pharrell.
Yeah.
So I would play that. I would play it really softly, and then it would kind of get louder, and we'd dance to that all morning. And so she learned at a very young age. She loves mornings. So we both love mornings.
Yeah.
But it's the stories we tell ourselves. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it really is. I'll just go off on tangents. So you're good. Interrupt. Like Ryan will probably join me on a tangent here at some point, right? Ryan Morris.
That or I'll hit the
advertisement button.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah, we might do that anyway. Throw people
that at
off.
the end.
It's just for giggles.
Button.
Yeah.
Always fun.
No, it matters so much, because we talk about grief in our journeys, as part of the Giant's journey. One of the journeys is grief. And when people go out of unconsciousness to awareness, they go right into grief. And some say mourning, grief, guilt, shame, all that stuff that comes up, the negative emotions. And so we look at it as an opportunity to really decide who you're going to create yourself as, because there's not a person in this room that hasn't gone through hard times. Anybody watching, there's nobody that's watching that hasn't been through hard times. But we still have a say in how we're going to show up in every aspect of our lives. And so when we hit that grief moment, that mourning moment, that intense event, whatever it is, there's an opportunity to really create yourself. And I would imagine that the creation of yourself is going to be that first thing that you want to do. So like in the morning, that's a creation of yourself. Who am I going to be today? I'm going to be happy, right? Yeah. Who am I going to be today? Who am I going to be in this next meeting? Who's showing up to do the meeting? Because that's as important as the meeting and what you're doing. Like if I just think in writing the book, who's showing up to write the book? Well, it's Tana that's healing. It's me that was healing. I'm sharing my journey. That's who's writing this book. It's not just a book. It's like this person that showed up, right?
Yeah.
What would Wonder Woman do?
Do it for you.
She'd throw on her outfit, right? Like ting ting. Invisible jet this shit. Let's get this done.
Got it.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Is that a Wonder Woman bracelet that you got on?
This is love.
Is it? Okay.
Sweet. That's solid.
That'll deflect.
Looks like a Wonder Woman bracelet.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I think that ties in, because what would Wonder Woman do is first thing is she put on the Wonder Woman outfit, right?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm taking your thunder. You go. Like, what would Wonder Woman do? I'll like just run off with it.
No, I think that's amazing. I think my smile is my biggest defense. Like that. When I'm hurting, I smile. I laugh. That's how I deal with my trauma.
Yeah.
I've always done that. That's kind of what I've conditioned myself to do. So
I like it.
Smiles, yeah.
I'm just going to imagine what Wonder Woman would do beyond a smile. I mean, I think there's a few things that she would do. If I were to create a lesson plan out of Wonder Woman doing things, it would be like, put on the Wonder Woman outfit.
I'm going to do
it. First decide, like, I'm fucking Wonder Woman, right? So, put a pause in there.
Yeah.
That could be.
I missed the beep button.
Can we go backward?
When I show up in my Wonder Woman outfit, don't you boys be scared.
We're going to take this quick commercial break for our sponsors. No.
We lost them all. They all left.
No, but you would decide, like, that's who I am, right? You'd be like, this is me. I'm doing this. I'm going out in the world. Then you'd grab your best Wonder Woman outfit. You'd throw it on. And then you'd go get in the invisible jet and you'd fly around looking for good things to do, right? And then you get your truth lasso out and you'd be like, don't ask me how I know so much about
Yeah, I was
Wonder
about to say,
Woman,
like,
but I know a few things. But I
you
would
know,
imagine
there's
that
been a lot of research.
there's a creation, right? Like there's a creation of that person. And
Right.
anybody watching this is sitting there, they're like, I'm not one of them. Well, you could be. You could create yourself as that, right?
Right.
It's a decision. So I hear people tell their stories. So I do a lot of coaching, and in the coaching conversations, I'll hear people's stories. And sometimes I'll say to them, that was awesome. That was a really good story. I liked it. If it was a book, I would buy it. And it makes them really upset, right? Like, but the veracity of that statement is that we tell our stories as though they are truth, right? And we say them as though I can't because this is why. And then we tell all of that goes with it. And we create ourselves as that. And we hold ourselves as unempowered. And when I think of what would Wonder Woman do, she would never hold herself as unempowered. She would step out and say, I am powerful and I'm creating myself as powerful. I'm going to show up that way. And in coaching, I'm not trying to be mean to people. It's not my goal with this to wake them up. It's to wake them up to the way that they're being, because their way of being is creating everything that they're doing. I mean, if they're being that, where they're feeling down and sad, and what are they going to create from that? Right. Exactly that, right? So it would have been easy at some point for you to say, I can't because my dad died when I was 2. I can't because I drowned in a pool. I can't because my stepdaughter died. And people would hear that and they would say, yeah, she can't. Right.
Right.
And yeah, what comes up as you hear that?
I can't is not in my vocabulary. Like there's nothing I can't do. Everything is figure outable. I believe that with all my heart. There's ways around it. You just jump through hoops. Like you show up as Wonder Woman, just like you said, you put on the costume and you show up and be you and get it done. And that's
I want people to hear that, like at home though, like put on that costume and get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start
Jen,
being
she
that.
put on
like
a cape. I should have shown up with my Wonder Woman costume.
But well, that's the truth of it. It's not, there's a lot of that statement of fake it till you make it. So fake it till you make it. Put on the facade, put on the mask, go act like things are okay. And don't let people know what's going on inside of you, right? Just pretend. And then one day it'll all mesh together and you'll be okay, right?
Right.
Well, it's frosting dog shit. It's putting frosting on dog poop.
I missed sleep again.
I'm sorry, guys. Those that are watching, it's one of those things where you're masking the dirt that's underneath on you, and so when you really just start being that from the inside, there's no masking it. You just start being it. You start practicing into it. You start living into it, and from that way of being, your creations start coming out of that. It's not an easy feat to write a book, right?
Right.
And she wrote 2.
That's what I've heard. I've heard it's not easy, but it's doable.
It's tricky.
All
for
of you
sure.
bookmaker people.
There are a few.
Books in
This
there.
brought
There
to
are
you
a
by
few.
the Giants and the Smalls. Believe in magic. And I bet on you, Laban Ditchburn.
But if
love it.
if you're watching this and you're thinking, to your, and I don't know what you're thinking. I have a psychology degree, but I still can't read minds. I can't. But
you told me in the last episode you could, and earlier in this episode twice.
It was this episode
twice.
Yeah, I got you. Anyway, just go be it. Like, okay, so I had somebody at the gym I was talking to, and he's my trainer, and he says, well, he wanted to know the how of being, right? It's something that we do as humans, is we want to know the process and the steps. And it's like, I could hand you a complete manual for the how to, and most people would just sit it on the counter and never read it, never act on it, never be it, never do anything with it. I mean, you would have the complete process from start to finish. I can't tell you how many programs I've had on my desk where it's like, here's how you do it. Right. But the person that's reading that, me at the time, was not being the guy that could make that a reality. He was something else. He was hoping for a quick fix. He was hoping that somebody might come rescue him or something along those lines, right? Like, pull me out of this.
Right.
But there's a way of creation that is, to write a book, it's not just the writing, it's finding the illustrators, it's the editing, it's the marketing, it's a whole package. It's not easy. There's a lot to it. And it's almost like some people write the book and then they hang up a sign and hope people just bust down the doors, right?
Right. That don't happen.
They don't.
It doesn't happen. Yeah.
Dang it, but that don't happen.
That was literally our whole marketing plan, Nick.
I just threw it out the window. We met with Richard Paul Evans around it, and that's what he shared is you got to have that platform. And part of the platform, Tana, is you've got this story that goes with your book, right? So that becomes the platform and the foundation for everything that follows. So when you're marketing that book, I learned this from Steve Hardison in marketing of our book, is that they want to know the origin. Why did it come about? Why did you write a book? When we go to teach it at schools, kids will ask, what inspired you to write a book? And it's cool that you wrote a book. They say that it's cool you wrote a book, but I want to know why you wrote a book, right?
Yeah.
Because then they're looking for their reason to write a book, and that's where the fun comes in. And I don't know, like I'll run off a little bit here with that. But what came up as you heard that?
Yeah, I love it. No, I feel it is hard. Like it is hard. And to share your story, this is the first time I've shared that story about the process of writing it, but I'm so grateful to go through it and just actually doing it and diving in and figuring it out. I mean, I'm still blown away that I figured it out, because it was not easy. There were so many times that I cried myself to sleep and wanted to give up and just say, who am I? Like, what am I doing? I'm not an author. I don't have like a degree in, I was like, who am I to be writing a book? But then I'm Tana Grover and I wrote a book. Like, that's who I am. Like, I'm going to
have to
be
get
an
out
author.
the bleep button again.
And then, yes, please. Yeah. And then not only did I write one book and get it published, but I wrote two. So it was like, you just have to do it. Step into your space and just do it. No, it was definitely not easy. It's not
when
an
you
easy
say
process.
Everything is figure outable, right? I mean, if that was our motto, everything is figure outable. Yeah. There's creation even inside of that. Like if there's no solution in front of you, you'll find a solution. If you don't know how to do it, you'll find ways to do it, to learn how to do it, right? Part of we had an interview with James Malinchak. He was on the show a little while ago, and he talked about having the mindset first, right? You create that mindset, the desire to do it. Then you have the skill set, and then you've got to get off your assets. And so you got to get out there and move it, right? Like it's, you have this mindset. So you're coming out of this struggle and you have this mindset, I can do this. And then you develop yourself in such a way that you can write a book and print it and get artists and collaborate, all of these things that go into it. And then not only that, but now you're in that space of, okay, now how do I get the word out, right? So you're getting off of your assets in that way. You're out there moving and taking action. And one thing we learned from him is that money loves movement. Is that when you're out there moving, it tends to follow that. So you might be broke, BAF for now, right?
Right.
But it is a temporary place because of the movement. Right?
It's going to be on a hat. BAF.
BAF.
I love it.
Well, I've been there. Like I get that personally.
Yeah.
Are you BAF?
It's humbling. It's I appreciate it. It's humbling.
Yeah.
You grow in that, right? That's where the growth happens.
I think so. That's what they tell me.
Yeah. Right? I feel
it's all those experiences, the good, the bad, everything that has led you to this point. That's we see this a lot. And a lot of these giants have been on before and watched our episodes with I mean, we're on the 111th episode. 110 others came before you, right? And that's synchronistic, right? 111. But
yes, love
all of them, every single one of them. There was none that they just woke up and Publishers Clearinghouse was on their doorstep and they're like, it worked out perfect. I had no problems ever in life. That's not how life works.
Right.
It's not at all. Tricky. But you have all of your experience and you probably labeled them good, bad, hard, easy, all of them.
Right.
But you still made a choice one day, said, hey, I could write a book. Who am I? Well, I'm Tana Grover. No, it was Tana MF Grover, right?
Bath,
We
Bath.
Yes,
Bath
yes.
Grover
Here I am.
said, "Hey, you know what? This is what I can do
Yeah.
because that's my experience. I'm going to pour my heart into it, my love, and my experience, and there's belief." And then you had another message that came through, and that was magic,
Yes.
right? Talks
So
about
Hugh made a comment saying
Yeah.
that I wrote through her, and that it's true because there were so many times when I read that book and I was like, where did that come from? And I could smell her.
Hmm.
I felt her so strong when I wrote that book. So that's it. She was with me all the way. Like I definitely felt her presence.
Do you feel like it was a download? Like I hear that often from artists. That's how mine feel, is like a download. Richard Paul Evans calls it a download. It's like, did it
Yeah,
feel
and
like
Natalie
that?
uses that word a lot too. I don't fully understand that, so I I don't speak to that very well because it's a little
Yeah. Yeah.
much for me. But I knew I could feel her presence, and I could feel
Yeah.
like I knew it wasn't myself writing a lot of that book. And
Hmm.
then the second book, Bostyn and I wrote that together. So we just kind of laid it out. We had fun with that one. Magic came to me. I wrote Magic within less than 4 months and had it
Hmm.
public. I mean, it was quick. It was so quick. That happened because I felt after I wrote Believe, after I had all that kind of come to me and come through me, and I poured my heart out into that, I had more to say. Like there's just more to the story of the there was just so much more to it. And so Bostyn and I created that together. And that was
Yeah.
truly magic. Like it felt magic. I felt magic in the air.
Yeah. So
I
what
will.
is magic? Ryan, go ahead. If you
Oh,
got
I was just gonna say one thing that I
yep,
felt like,
do it.
there's pathways that cross, in life, and I don't think it was an accident that we crossed paths when we did,
Right.
and we were able to help a little bit, just inspire or just help give you the little extra nudge, hey, you can do this. There's some hard things. Here's some people that can help you. But you just really, you dug deep. You just said, you know what? I'm going to figure it out. And it wasn't perfect, right? Nick
Yeah.
talks about satisficing. It wasn't exactly how you wanted it to come out,
Right.
but you got it good enough, right, for the moment.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm going to let the cat out of the bag and throw something out there because I've talked to Tana about this in the future. Is she wants hard copy books because she's seen the giants and the smalls and how
So
that
good.
was created. And
Yeah.
so we're talking about creating something where there'll be like a dual version, Magic
Oh yeah.
Believe,
Nice. Nice.
something like that in a hard
Yeah.
copy format. And so that'll be the next project. And so everyone that's out there, watch for that because we're going to do a Kickstarter to help her get going on that project, and that'll come up in the future. But it all boiled down to you put on your Wonder Woman bracelet and just went and kicked some ass and got it done. Yeah. Beep.
Well, so isn't that the secret of everything? I mean, if the person that has to show up to write the book comes from the space of I am already an author, right? Versus I wish I was, right? That person's not going to show up as powerfully, but I'm an author. So as an author, what would an author do? You
Arthur.
start, what would Arthur do?
Yeah, what
You
would
start
Arthur do?
asking those questions, right?
Great.
Right. Yeah.
Who's Arthur? When did we get ice cream?
I'm
In
in
the
there like
morning, you have to
swimwear.
think about it.
Zach,
When
you're the
Kickstarter
best.
launches.
Oh, I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to do that Kickstart. That's exciting.
Well, so I
stuff.
want to dive back in time a little bit back to the experience, right? Because going through that, there's a depressive state, right? You go through this energy of feeling really flattened,
Yeah.
a shattering of your world as you know it. And so in that, tell me if I'm accurate in this. This is from Susan Anderson's work and research on depression, anxiety, things like that. But there's usually a withdrawal. So when you have a shattering, you withdraw and you internalize. You start going inside. I wish, you think of the things you could have done, or you start really like a lot of times self-blaming. And then you go into rage. You get angry because you start to bump up against the wall of, I can't change it. and it's really frustrating and you can't take it back, right? And then there's this lifting. And in the grief cycle, they talk about that shock, that acceptance, the denial, the acceptance, or the anger, the bargaining, and then the depression, right? Then acceptance. And so depression, and I just want to hit on this real quick and then dive back into the creation here, because when you go through the depression, it's one of those things where your energy pulls back, right? That's that withdrawal. And it's really meant to serve, because it gets you to pull back energy from things that aren't serving you anymore. In most cases, in grief, it's more of it's an internalization for that loss. And then in depression, you have a reflection. You start remembering all of the things and you think through everything. So you have that internalization, that reflection, and then you have a reverence for the experience, and then you re-engage with life. Right. And so there's an opportunity in that re-engagement to create something from it. And I think of a seed, like a seed dies before it comes back to life. If I'm inaccurate, tell me. I mean, I might be wrong.
No, it's spot on for what I went through it. I'm feeling all of that. Yeah.
Like it falls off the tree. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially through the depression state, like after you get it written before you can actually get it published.
Yeah.
The fear, I mean, there's fear and shame and doubt and worry and all that. You're like, do I really want to put this out for the world to judge me? Like that was my hardest part of doing that. And I thought, you know what, this is such a message that I feel will help so many kids and families. And I think it has such a powerful message in it. And that's what pushed me forward, because I knew I wanted to share it with the world. And if I had shame or judgment or anything against that, that's on them. That's not on me. So I just kept pushing forward and still going strong.
And it's a creation, and it's sprouting and growing. And the beauty of your creation is that now that you're getting it out to the world with that message behind it, it's like it's creating this impact in others and inspiring them to believe and to look for the magic in the world, because there's a lot of magic in this world. There's a lot of things that we can't explain, and the beauty of what your message teaches is that, like, you're teaching them the core principles that we all need, right? Belief is principle to everything. Like if you don't believe you can do it, you're not going to do anything. You're not even going to act on it. You're not even going to look for opportunities. So you're going to miss them because you're not even looking.
Exactly. Yeah. And just like your book, like it's such a powerful children's book, but it's also such a powerful book for adults, because the message is so clear and needs to be heard by both parents and children. And that was the hard thing, because when you're writing a book, they want you to pick a specific age group. And I'm like, that's tricky, because it's for both. It's for kids and adults. It has a very, your grandparents, all ages, love the message that are in our books. I think we've got all three of those books have such a powerful message.
Well, there's power in metaphor, right? So when you write a metaphor, you can go read it again and again and again and get a new message every time. And so that's the beauty of it. Whether you're 4 or 84, it doesn't matter. You'll read it differently from where you're at. And so I love the idea that you have around what would Wonder Woman do reading your book. Like if Wonder Woman were reading your book, she would have a way of reading it, right? Like it would it would come out different than if, I don't know, if Clark Kent were reading it, or I don't.
Superman, right?
Yeah.
And it's crazy because we all perceive, it's all perception. We all read things differently. So what I read and hear and see, I view it completely different than the next person. We all have our own perception of things, and so that's you guys talked about that on your last show, and I was like, well, that's so true for so many of us.
I want to give you a shout out. Oh, I'm not going to hit the button either. We have the button, the shout out button, but we hit that too much in the last episode, so we ran out
15 times.
Yeah,
we ran out.
I lied. We hit it. Nick hit it. Yeah. Mr. Pinky over there, he just reached over and snuck it in.
Whoops.
Here's the shout out. Before the show, what did you tell me about coming on to the show? What was your feeling?
I was nervous. My hands were sweating. I'm like, oh, I'm so nervous.
Yeah. You're worried about like how the message was going to be received, what people would
Right.
think, all these things, right? Even Wonder Woman, I'm going to throw this out there. Even Wonder
Right.
Woman can have those moments. We all
Right.
do. It's life. It's stuff, Now, I didn't before I got on this show. I was actually letting you squirm a little bit. Me and Nick and Tana were sitting here. She's like, "Oh, I'm nervous. I'm nervous." And I just was sitting back laughing because I don't anymore because it's now it's a lot more comfortable for me because
Yeah.
I've done it a lot. But what did you do anyway? You put on your freaking Wonder Woman suit. You threw on your Wonder Woman bracelet. You grabbed your lasso, and you freaking are crushing it. And you came on here. You were worried. You told me, can we just maybe do like half hour? Because I don't even know what to say anymore. Like, I don't know if we'll even have enough stuff.
Don't worry. This dude likes to talk. So
I'm like, I haven't had a half hour show. Like, what is that?
half hour.
Half hour?
I was good
That's
for
like
I'm like,
sacrilegious
I'm
or
like
something.
Sounds
20
like the
minutes.
appetizer.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We don't want a snack.
What is that? The kids' meal?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Can I just be the appetizer? I'll do a 20-minute show.
Yeah, no, we'll go. We're going to the main course here. We're 50 minutes in,
Yeah. This is
I
Wagyu beef.
I love the messages of your books. Like I just tying that in as a lesson of life. We teach about it in the Giants journey, but you have your own journey in there. The grief journey, the mourning journey, there's love and loss, right? When somebody dies and you mourn that loss, Hugh talks about this a lot. You loved that person. Otherwise,
Yes.
you probably wouldn't have had any concern about their passing or whatever. And so through that mourning, through that loss and that loss of love, right? The belief is that I could still step into the world fully, even with loss, even with the loss of my dad, even with the trauma of youth, even with the loss of a stepdaughter, I could still look at the world any way I choose to. And you get to see things however you want. You see a heart in the clouds. You can see that, right? Somebody else might see it and they'll say something else. They might say, I see
probably
a butt
gonna
crack.
rain.
Right? Oh, it's probably going to rain. Oh, that looks like a butt crack. Like, I don't know. But we all choose our perception based on what we're believing, right? And so when you have that event, like life is life. Events are events. And some of those events are pretty intense. And through it, I've seen people that have gone through things like rape and abuse and come out with just this amazing mindset. And somebody else will go through it and they have a different mindset. And and there's no right or wrong in it. It's just that we get to choose our adventure in a way. I remember those books as a kid where you'd choose your adventure and you'd go down a different path depending on the page that you chose. It's kind of like that. Like we are at say in our lives. And like the book Belief, to believe, that word, it comes from, I think is it German? It's Glauben, to hold dear.
Mm-hmm.
Is what it comes from. And so a belief is something that you hold dear.
Ask the dictionary.
Ask the dictionary. So we'll go to the etymology on it. But it means to hold dear. It's something that you hold as important. And what's crazy is that you could have a belief that doesn't serve you, and you would still hold it as dear as a belief that does serve you. And so becoming aware of that is one of the biggest things. As soon as like some of those moments in life really wake us up. A loss of somebody wakes us up. It has us step back and really see reality as it is, right? I think there's so much opportunity in that.
Yeah, I think a lot of us have been woke to so much the past couple of years. I think we're all kind of waking up.
Yeah.
I got a question for you through all of this, right? Like you've gone through a lot. Somebody could look at your life and go, wow. Like I stubbed my toe this morning and that was as much as I've been through in a while, right? Like you went through a lot of stuff and no question, no one would dispute your story. Wanted to know, like going backwards, what would you say to yourself if you started all over and went back in time? What would you say to Tana, knowing what you know now?
Just keep going. Keep going. And do it with a smile. I'd do it all over again. I wouldn't change a thing. I've been through some hard shit. I wouldn't change a thing. It's created me. It's made me stronger. I've grown so much from it. I've learned from all of it. I really feel that at our darkest times, my sister Mona, who's on here, she's been through some shit. She's been through some really tough times, lost both of her fiancés, and she's had some really, really difficult loss. But she's the same way. She gets through it and does it with a smile. You'll always find her laughing or cracking jokes, or I mean, we have the choice to give up and just give up. But who does that? Like, we don't. Tana Grover's not going to do that. I'm never giving up. I don't give up. I don't quit. We just keep going. And so I can say, keep going.
We got a room full of those people.
Yeah.
Zach, Jen, like Mona, like all these people. It's inspiring to be able to just sit and listen to somebody's story. If I were to go back in time, I wouldn't change it either. Like to say, don't give up. Like that would be the message right there. So many people do.
Never give up. Never, ever give up. Just keep going.
I can't believe we're already at 55 minutes. That went fast.
I can't believe it either.
That's the fastest 30 minutes ever.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Thanks for keeping that to 30 minutes, guys.
You're welcome.
What else do you want to share? It's your turn to tangent. Like, what do you feel?
I'm just so grateful for all my friends. Demuro, thank you so much for hopping on. I see my friends and family over on the comments, and I'm so excited. It just means the world to me. Like, I love so hard. The people in my life know how much I love them, because I love like my mom does, and we love fully. We just love with our whole hearts. If you've met me or my mom, you just know that our love is so pure. And I'm just so grateful for all of you for jumping on and helping me. And I know you've all bought my book, so I appreciate you all so much.
I think they need 3 or 4 or 5 copies.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Well, it's coming out. We're going to get it in hard copies. So that's coming up. We're making
when you get enough of them together, it gets really thick. And so it's like a hard copy. You get 12 of them stacked together. Yeah.
I'm crafty. I'm sure I could create that.
I'm just trying to sell books.
I love it.
Then you won't be Baff anymore.
I love all the comments.
Get 1 million.
Yeah, I love you, Diane. I love you.
It's
Mona.
rad. It's hard to keep up with everybody. It's beautiful.
They're coming in fast, and I'm not even there. Like I left that part to Nick.
Yeah.
I was trying to find the bleep button still.
Well, we got to install one still. For
it
those that are
doesn't even
watching, kind of a late apology, but yeah, I have a tendency to go trucker all of a sudden.
Hey, you know what? It's okay. Like I said, a well-timed F word every now and again.
Yeah.
I know. I apologize for that. I did not know that was coming out.
Sorry, Mama Belinda.
Sorry, Mama.
Sorry, Mama.
Yeah.
She says that.
Well, that was beautiful. Ryan, do you have any other final thoughts?
I know that, like, just from knowing you, is that you're very structured. You like structure. You like your routines. Your mornings are your favorite thing. What do you do? What do you do in the morning? How do you keep yourself grounded? Real quick, and then I'll give my final thoughts on the show.
Okay, yes. So mornings and nights are like my favorite. So in the mornings, I have to have at least an hour and a half before Bostyn wakes up, because I have to have time to read. I have to journal. I just need my own me time. And then she has to wake up an hour before she starts getting ready for school, because I want her to have that alone time as well. So she has to read and journal and do all those things. So, and we always journal. We do our journals, our gratitude journals every morning before we go to school. And then we always talk about 3 things. And then before we go to bed, so we say the 3 things that we were grateful for that day. And it has to be that day, like something you were grateful that happened that day. And then we talk about it. We talk about how it makes us feel. And then we talk about the favorite thing that happened that day. And then we both fall asleep. So those are pretty powerful things that I love and that we do pretty religiously, unless we're both like sick or something happened. But I'm pretty structured about that.
That's pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
I don't do that. I guess
it works for us.
My game, man. Yeah.
Hey, man, that's kind of the thing right there, is that like wherever you are, you are.
Right.
What you've been through. And this is to the people at home, and to when I'm saying that, I'm speaking to myself mostly. Is that where you are, you are. Allow yourself some grace for what you've gone through and what you've been, and know that at any point in time you can put on that Wonder Woman suit or whatever suit that is good for you. It's the Jen Walter suit for Jen Walter. It's the Nora suit for Nora. The Ryan just doing Ryan things.
The birthday suit for Nick.
It's the
Yes.
suit. Whatever suit suits you. And then you can change. You can change your life instantly
Yeah.
and powerfully. Right now, it's a choice and a commitment. Thoughts are things, right? That's in your book.
Yes.
Thoughts are
It is.
things. Yeah, I even read it. A
Yeah.
lot of people on here probably don't even know that I can read. Bazinga.
Wait a minute. You can read?
Barely, but I read that part. I wanted to impress you
Nice.
because
I
I
love
got
it.
my own signed copies, and so I just wanted to impress you that I did read your book.
It was impressive.
Books.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
multiple times.
I
I
appreciate
also
that
took pictures of
so
them and
much.
sent them to you. Used a couple of them on Instagram. So, is it
I know,
okay if
they
I
were
share
awesome.
your Instagram? Can I share your Instagram
Yes,
handle,
please.
or is that something?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah,
it's
please
right
do.
here. We
Share
threw it
it
on
away.
the banners right there.
Throw it
Boom.
in there. Yep.
Got it. So
And
you
then
can
one
go
thing
and
I
follow
just want
her.
to touch on. I just want to
Mhm.
touch on what you were saying about how powerful, like it really is. Our mind is so powerful. It's crazy how powerful the mind is. And literally when you can change your thoughts, you truly can change your life. So
Yeah. That's
I-
beautiful.
that just came up when you were talking about that.
That's
Well,
what I think
excellent.
too. I
Well,
agree.
There you go.
Bam. And that just happened.
Bam.
Yeah.
Well, for those that are watching, we appreciate you. Like, seriously, the
Yes.
comments, everything, the interaction, it makes the show what it is. Just the banter that goes back and forth, the support. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, go hit that button, subscribe, and share it. I mean, we have over 400 episodes on there.
Wake Up with Giants
And
TV.
so, and we call them episodes because this is what they feel like, is like an episode. Oh, Brian's having an episode.
I have lots of episodes.
Something like that. But join us, hit the notification bell so you get reminded as soon as we go live. And remember this, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. You're exactly doing what you should be doing. You're right on time in the creation that you're creating. So keep stepping. We love you. We'll see you in the next video.
Love you too.